Let me ask you a question. Do you own the roof over your head? Or do you pay a subscription fee to exist? For 70 years, the American dream was simple. You work hard, you save money, you buy a house. That house was your savings account. It was your retirement plan. It was the one piece of the earth that belonged to you, where no landlord could evict you and no corporation could tell you what color to paint the walls. But look at the housing market today. Mortgage rates are suffocating. Home prices in 2026 have hit record highs, even as wages stagnate. You walk into an open house, ready to make an offer with your life savings, and you are outbid instantly. Not by a family. Not by a young couple. But by an LLC with a generic name, paying 20% over the asking price in all cash. Who is that buyer? It is BlackRock. It is Vanguard. It is State Street. They are not buying houses to live in them. They are buying them to rent them back to you. They are turning the American dream into a monthly subscription service. The World Economic Forum famously predicted, "You will own nothing, and you will be happy." They were half right. In 2026, you own nothing. But nobody is happy. We are witnessing the greatest transfer of wealth in human history. It is a return to feudalism. But instead of lords and kings living in castles, we have asset managers living in glass towers in Manhattan. And instead of serfs working the land, we have the renter class, handing over 50% of our income just to have a place to sleep. Today, we're going to expose the engine behind this takeover. We're going to talk about Aladdin, the artificial intelligence that controls the global economy. We're going to look at the subscription living agenda. And we're going to explain why they hate gold more than anything else, because gold is the only asset they cannot turn into a monthly bill. Most people think BlackRock is just an investment firm. They think it's a bunch of guys in suits analyzing stocks. That is a lie. BlackRock is a technology company. And their secret weapon is not money. It is data. In a secure data center in Washington State, there sits a supercomputer running a program called Aladdin, Asset, Liability, Debt, and Derivative Investment Network. Aladdin is not just a calculator. It is the most powerful artificial intelligence in the financial world. It monitors every trade, every risk, every loan, and every heartbeat of the global economy. As of 2026, Aladdin manages risk for over $25 trillion in assets. That is more than the GDP of the United States. Why does this matter to your house? Because Aladdin knows the future before you do. When the housing market crashed in 2008, Aladdin told BlackRock to buy. When the pandemic hit in 2020, Aladdin told them to buy. And now, in the crisis of 2026, Aladdin is telling them to buy everything. This AI analyzes neighborhoods block by block. It knows which towns will have water shortages. It knows where the new factories will be built. It knows your credit score better than you do. It identifies undervalued single-family homes, the starter homes that used to belong to the middle class, and it issues buy orders instantly. You are not competing against other buyers. You are competing against a supercomputer with infinite capital and zero empathy. Aladdin has calculated that subscription housing is the most profitable business model for the 21st century. It has determined that individual ownership is inefficient. Why let a regular family own a home and build equity when BlackRock can own the home, charge you rent forever, and keep the equity for themselves? Aladdin has solved the equation of capitalism, and the variable it eliminated is you. In the tech world, they call it SaaS, software as a service. You don't buy Microsoft Office anymore. You rent it. You don't buy movies. You stream them. Now, BlackRock is bringing this model to the physical world. They call it HaaS, Housing as a Service. Imagine the future they are building in 2026. You move into a BlackRock-managed community. You don't pay a mortgage. You pay a lifestyle fee. It sounds convenient. If the roof leaks, you use an app to call maintenance. If the lawn needs mowing, a drone does it. But here's the dark side. Because you are a user, not an owner, you have no rights. These homes are smart homes. They are connected to the grid. They are connected to your digital ID. If you miss a rent payment, the digital lock on your front door doesn't open. If your carbon footprint score gets too high, the smart thermostat locks at 60 degrees. And the rent? It is dynamic. Just like Uber prices go up when demand is high, your rent is adjusted by algorithms. Aladdin calculates exactly how much you can afford to pay before you go bankrupt, and it sets the price right at that limit. They extract every penny of surplus value from your labor. You become a serf in a digital manner. You can never build intergenerational wealth. You have nothing to pass down to your children except your subscription login. This is the ultimate goal, a population that is transient, dependent, and easily controlled. A population that lives paycheck to paycheck, sending the fruit of their labor directly to Wall Street. Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, wrote in his letters that he wants to force behaviors. This is how they do it. If you own your land, you are independent. If you rent your existence from them, you will do exactly what you are told. How do they justify this? How do they convince the government to let them buy up all the neighborhoods? They use a Trojan horse called ESG, environmental, social, and governance. BlackRock tells politicians that single-family home ownership is bad for the climate. They argue that regular people are inefficient. We drive gas cars. We don't insulate our attics properly. We use too much water. Therefore, according to the ESG narrative, it is better for the planet if a benevolent corporation owns the housing stock. BlackRock promises to retrofit these homes with solar panels, electric heat pumps, and smart meters. They package this as saving the earth. In reality, it is about consolidation. By enforcing strict ESG building codes in 2026, they have made it impossible for a regular person to build or maintain a home. The new green compliance laws require expensive upgrades that only $1 trillion fund can afford. If you try to sell your old house today, you get hit with carbon penalties that destroy your equity. But if you sell to BlackRock, they get a tax credit. The system is rigged to force the little guy to sell. They are erasing the middle class under the guise of environmentalism. They are taking your property rights and selling them back to you as sustainability. It is the perfect scam. You get poorer, they get richer, and they get a Nobel Peace Prize for doing it. So, why does BlackRock hate gold? Why does every mainstream financial news channel, owned by the same conglomerates, tell you that gold is a barbarous relic? Because gold is the one asset that breaks the subscription model. Gold has no cash flow. It pays no rent. It has no dividend. To an algorithm like Aladdin, gold is a dead asset because it cannot be financialized. They cannot turn your gold coin into a derivative. They cannot charge you a monthly fee for holding it in your own safe. When you buy a house in their system, you are trapped in their tax grid, their debt grid, and their ESG grid. You are visible. You are vulnerable. But when you exchange your fiat currency for physical gold, you are exiting the matrix. You are taking your labor energy and storing it in a battery that BlackRock cannot drain. Larry Fink wants you to be in the stock market, which he controls. He wants you to be in the bond market, which he controls. He wants you to be in the real estate market, which he owns. Gold is the only sovereign territory left. It is the only square foot of freedom that doesn't require a permit. In a world where they want you to rent everything, from your music to your house to your car, owning a physical, tangible, uncancelable asset is the most rebellious thing you can do. They want you to own nothing. Gold is the ultimate way to say, I own this, and you cannot take it. The conspiracy is not hidden in the shadows anymore. It is out in the open. You can see it in the Zillow listings. You can see it in your rent hikes. You can see it in the glossy brochures for subscription living. BlackRock, armed with Aladdin, has declared war on private property. They have rigged the game so that the only winning move is not to play by their rules. They want you to be a renter forever. They want you dependent. Do not give them the satisfaction. If you can still buy land, do it. If you can't, then buy the only other asset that carries the power of sovereignty. Buy gold. Buy silver. Build your own wealth outside of their subscription ecosystem. The feudal lords of the 21st century are powerful, but they are terrified of a population that owns real assets. Because a man who owns his own life cannot be enslaved. Subscribe to the channel. We are building the resistance, ounce by ounce. See you in the next video.